On this Friday
News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And we're looking at a pretty nice day ahead, right?
Yeah, we got to get to some rain first, and then it'll take place for between now, say, till noontime. But then between noon and probably 5, we got some sun. We got near 70 degrees, so it's going to be a nice taste of spring again. In fact, here's a look right now. Before we get to that, though, at the latest on the water levels are still being the main concern here locally. In fact, I'm going to go back here one second here to our flood warning, which is in effect still for West Canada Creek. So, good news. Water levels continue to drop. It's currently at minor flood stage. Bad news is it's still in flood stage. So a lot of folks, those of you along the West Canada, still seeing the impacts. Now, the flood warning for the Mohawk River and Little Falls has since expired. The levels are dropping below flood stage, but still, again, impacts will be evident for at least the near future, of course, as the water levels continue to recede. We do have some more scattered showers here. In fact, a couple very isolated downpours as this front rolls its way through. You see here a couple of spots entering Herkimer County and southern Oneida County, and a couple more showers, even some thunder out toward Watertown. A line of some rain, heavier rain out toward Toronto. That is expected to generally miss us here. Temperatures this morning hovering in the 40s and 30s, pretty much all across central New York. And despite that, we have a pretty mild weekend. Not very warm, but also not very cold. There's a strong cold front that arrives Sunday for Easter that's going to begin to cool things down, which we'll dive into here shortly. But again, today, we're up near 70 following this morning's rainfall, with even some peaks of sunshine. We'll be tracking that for you. Plus, again, a more detailed breakdown on how your Easter weekend shapes up straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A very scary scene played out.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Happy Friday. It is now Easter weekend, and my goodness, this year has already just flown by. Here's a look at your forecast, though, as you head out the door this morning, as well as what you can expect for your Easter weekend. We begin here with a look at current conditions outside of downtown Utica. A bit damp as a passing shower rolled through moments ago. Light rain officially at Griffiths, temperature 42 degrees with an east-southeast wind of around 7 to 10 miles an hour. Here's a look at some of those scattered rain showers, mainly pushing their way north and east. So you can see here, some of the amounts here are expected to be somewhat notable at least, but these showers are rather isolated in some spots. So not everyone's going to see some of these showers here. Heading south, it's a lot different, of course, much more dry weather there. Today, it's quite a difference. We go from the 40s this morning up to near 70 this afternoon. Between noon and, say, 4 and 5, it's dry, it's sunny. Then we're going to see some downpours as a cold front works its way through again. In the meantime, though, a quick preview of your Easter forecast. Unfortunately, it's not the best when it comes to going out and doing some Easter egg hunting. We got some widespread rain to start the day, and it's going to be somewhat damp for the afternoon, and highs only in the 50s. But again, we'll look at our skycast as well as the time frame of all that as we head into the rest of the weekend and your full forecast in a few minutes. Gary?
Come on, Eric.
I know. I try my best to bring some nice weather. I mean, at least we got some warmth today.
Easter's usually really nice,
yeah.
too. Well, happening today, a new bakery.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody, on this Friday. What a week it's been here, at least regarding flooding, rain, thunder, lightning. Thankfully, though, much of that severe weather risk that took place earlier in the week was outside of central New York. Otherwise, it'd be even more of an impactful week. But nonetheless, here's a look in Cooperstown right now. We're tracking a few scattered rain showers, temperature of 44 degrees. So we are slowly starting to climb here. Eventually, what will be a rather warm day. In fact, the warmest day we'll be seeing over the next 5 to 6 days. So enjoy the nice afternoon warmth here, all driven in by a warm front. Now we see here we have a few scattered rain showers basically between now and pretty much Sunday, on and off spotty showers. There'll be more or less hit or miss here. Now, once this cold front works through in the evening, that's our next shot of more consistent rain. But you see here, as we head toward Sunday, we got some colder air working its way in. This is the cold front that we're expecting on Easter Sunday, and we'll show that here, at least zoomed in a moment. Right now, here's the radar, and we have a few downpours, moderate to light rain mixing in as well for pretty much all of Oneida County. It's pretty widespread here in the county itself, but again, as we head throughout the day today, we're going to see this rainfall begin to end by noontime, and our window here of nice weather is between noon and roughly 4 p.m. You see here, we're going to start to see that cold front work through, and it's going to start out with a few spotty downpours. Now, to be fair, following that front, it's still not too bad. The conditions will actually be rather dry, so take it as you leave it. If you have any plans for this evening, that rainfall, once it exits, it does dry up rather quickly. It does cool down rather quickly overnight tonight. We're down into the 30s by 6 a.m. And then tomorrow afternoon, we have some opportunity for sun, but it's going to be mixed in with spotty rain showers and temperatures in the 50s. So be it as it may, that's pretty much our pattern here as we head toward Sunday. This is Easter, 6 a.m. We have a south wind. We're in the 50s. Then here comes a widespread rain during the morning hours. This is between 8 and 9 a.m. Following that, we're going to see damp, blustery, cold conditions here. Even some snow starting to work its way in those higher elevations as we head toward Easter Sunday night. Now you see here a few isolated downpour chances between now and Sunday, and then that widespread rain moves through Sunday right here. You can see the overall totals encompassing a ½ an inch to 3/4 of an inch. Your 7-day forecast, as we head toward next week, you see here it's quite a difference. We go from 70 for the high today. We're down into the 50s by Saturday and Sunday. As we head toward Monday, we're going to be out into the 40s, remaining in the 40s, as we head to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. In fact, Thursday is actually a bit of a warm-up, though. We're pushing near 60. So you see here, these cold pockets, once they move through, they don't last too long. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Unintended once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. If you are getting ready to head out the door this morning, it's not too bad temperature-wise, but Eric, that rain's coming down.
Yeah, a bunch of spots reporting some rain showers here locally, and on top of that, there are still some flood warnings in effect. Well, mainly one I want to focus on right now. Here's a look at it right here. It's the West Canada Creek, for obvious reasons, still under that flood warning. It's in minor flood stage now, so we are seeing some improvements here. It was at moderate flood stage yesterday, and even in the morning hours, it was at major flood stage. So we are seeing improvements. However, those of you that live along the creek more or less know that it is still causing some concerns and some issues there. Flooding heading toward Middleville, heading out toward Newport, all the way down to the Barge Canal where it exits. So there's a lot of spots here that will still be under this flood warning until the water levels recede. Now, the Mohawk River and Little Falls, the warning has since expired, but still, again, there could be some ponding and some pockets of water that got trapped from that river that is still remaining in some of those low-lying areas. Radar right now, we've got a few pockets of downpours here and there. We're not out of the woods with rainfall, at least for today. In fact, we zoom in here, pretty much extending from, let's see, even Rome, heading out toward Marcy, North Utica, reporting some of that heavier rain as well. We zoom out. There are a few more bands of rain coming in from the west. A lot of this activity, though, not really that intense. In fact, a lot of that's actually been missing us. The temperatures this morning, upper 30s, low 40s. So we are starting out rather on the cooler side, but it's not too bad. It's not very cold. We do expect a milder weekend, but at least today, as you see right here, we're up near 70 this afternoon. Even some sunshine peeking out between noontime and 4. We'll track that for you, plus the arrival of a few more downpours this evening and the rain chances this weekend straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Last night, some local middle...
Where we track storms. This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Friday morning. Yes, we got a few rain showers we're tracking, some of them coming down a bit heavier too, so just watch out for some ponding on some of the roadways. And on top of that, of course, you want to make sure you dress accordingly, have those rain jackets handy, because you might get a bit wet out there as you head out to work or put the kids in the bus. Nonetheless, though, we take a look at our photo of the day, and it's quite a different story. Instead of seeing rain and cold, well, take a look at this adorable photo here of what appears to be horses from Diana, who sent this in, basking in the elusive sunshine in Holland Patton. I bet they were just enjoying that sunshine. Now, yes, despite the rain today, I think your horses might be enjoying some more of that sunshine this afternoon with some warmer temperatures. It might not last long, but still, there's going to be enough to maybe have them enjoy a little bit of it before eventually we're going to see a cool down yet again this weekend. So shout out to these adorable horses here from Diana, and this was of course sent in from Holland Patton. So shout out to those of you watching from Holland Patton this morning. If you have a photo like that you'd like to send to us, go to WKTV.com/weather/pics, and of course that photo and every photo every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A day after Newport filled with flood water, the American Red Cross shelter at Kayahora Community Hall has closed, but there are cleanup kits still available if you need them. Various community organizations, including the Herkimer Oneida organizations active in disaster, are also offering a helping hand. Newport is expected to remain under a flood warning until late this morning. Flooding affecting Harbor Point in Utica has slowly started to recede as of yesterday. Since heavy rainfall affected Utica and the greater Mohawk Valley this week, the Mohawk River rose close to the parking lot there, covering sidewalks and benches. Yesterday, the water level appeared to be receding. The city of Utica is actively working with the State Canal Corporation on the issue. And a portion of I-88 in Otsego County is because of a sinkhole between Otsego and Unadilla. It's been there for 3 days now. State police have told us there is considerable erosion under the highway. They also say the sinkhole was caused by an unknown water issue. The time right now is 5:43. Here's a
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Today on this Friday, finally entering our Easter weekend, it's starting out rather rainy here in some other spots. We'll take a look right now in Cooperstown, where at least it's looking somewhat drier than some other spots here locally. In fact, we take a look at the bigger picture here, and we've got this arrival of a few scattered rain showers, some of them a bit heavy in some spots here too. Now, following this morning's rain, we have a window of warm weather right about here before a cold front works through in the evening, and then we have another moderate window of warmth here before some much cooler air arrives following Easter Sunday into the beginning of next week. So a slight pattern shift. In the meantime, though, we're just seeing these rounds of rain here and there, and it's a bit heavy in some parts, at least early this morning. You can see, of course, the overall pattern starting to fill in right here as they push their way north and east. So this morning, through around noontime, this is the window we're going to see on and off rain. It's not dry entirely. Following that, from noon to roughly 4 p.m. is our window of nice weather today. The skies will eventually begin to clear out a little bit. We're going to start to see some warmer temperatures pushing the upper 60s, low 70s. And then we have a few downpours rolling through. Now, it's not the only window here. Following those downpours by 6:30 onwards, it's still looking rather dry. We're still in the 60s. We eventually cool down into the 30s overnight by Saturday morning. Then Saturday starts out cloudy and damp, a few scattered rain showers in the early afternoon. We do expect some partial clearing as we head overnight, and then eventually by Sunday. Here we are for Easter, 6 a.m. It starts out a little damp, but it is rather mild. We have widespread rain moving through much of the mid-morning right here. Then as we head toward the afternoon, it's damp, it's breezy, it's cloudy. We're in the 40s. There have been more impactful Easter days, but certainly if I were to rate days in terms of how nice it would be on Easter Sunday, I wouldn't put this on the top of the list, put perspective on the type of conditions you'll be seeing for the day itself. But nonetheless, overnight, we're going to start to see some temperatures cool and eventually some snow showers mixing in those higher elevations. So, most importantly, the next few days, we're closely watching rainfall totals here because right now we are seeing improvements, but we're right on the fringe of things potentially causing at least affected by this rainfall with additional rising water levels. But at least for now, you see here between now through Sunday night, a ½ an inch, 3/4 of an inch, we can manage with that. That'll be runoff for the most part. Your 7-day forecast following this weekend, as I mentioned, we're cooling down. We got a few flurries on and off on Monday, mainly again in those higher elevations, and then we're in the 40s Tuesday and Wednesday, rebounding back into the 60s by Thursday. So we get these cold pockets here and there. It won't last too long, but at least for today, though, I mean, we got a window in the afternoon where it's in the 70s. We got some sun peeking out. Looking forward to that.
Get out and go for a walk.
Easily, yes.
Yeah. Eric, thanks. After a successful launch,
The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Friday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Approaching 70 today, right?
Yes, despite how cool it must have felt yesterday and how cool it feels this morning, yes, we're going to see that as well this afternoon. We have a look at now first the latest on the flood warnings here locally. I want to keep starting out with this because, of course, this is the biggest priority, especially for those of you along the West Canada, which is the only spot now locally that is still under a flood warning. Now, the bad news is there is still flooding taking place, but the good news is the flooding is, or at least the water levels are continuing to decline. We are now in a minor flood category. The same time yesterday, it was in major flood status. So the waters are slowly receding, and it's always a delayed process when it comes to all that water that's getting supplied from the Adirondacks into, say, for example, the Hinckley Reservoir. But still, you see here we have some more scattered rain showers across central New York early today. A couple of these heavier downpours outside of Rome, near Marcy, up north of Trenton, heading out toward Ohio, up north of 365 into Hamilton County. That's pretty much the bulk of the heavier rain this morning. We're going to drive a little bit. We have another round of rain in the late morning, early afternoon right here, and then we have a window between around noontime and 5 p.m. that might show us some sunshine and warmth. But either way, you see here, temperatures hovering in the upper 30s, low 40s. It's pretty consistently cool, but not too cool this morning. This weekend, Easter weekend, favoring a few rain chances as well as some mild temperatures. Not warm, but also not cold. But at least today, at least during the afternoon, we're pushing near 70 before that widespread rain begins to move its way in with a couple of those isolated downpours. We'll track that for you in that full forecast coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A very scary scene.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back, everybody, on this Good Friday today. Time now is 6:12, and we're tracking a few downpours passing over the area. A bit damp as you take a look at your forecast in a minute. Current snapshot of downtown Utica. See pretty wet surfaces out there as well. Temperature 42 with some rain. East-southeast wind 7 to 10 miles an hour. Sunrise 6:45 this morning. Sunset 7:32. Live look at the radars. You see here a couple downpours passing over Oneida County, the main area where that rain is taking place. A lot less down in Otsego County. In fact, there's actually a band passing through central Herkimer County right there, and we'll see how this pans out for the foreseeable future. Again, as you head farther south, a lot drier here locally. Now today, after a damp morning, as we head toward the early afternoon, we're going to see another round of rain. It's going to dry up. We have opportunities for some sunshine before the backside cold front works through, and we have a few downpours heading toward the evening. But at least a preview of your Easter Sunday. Now listen, I wish I could give you some sunnier, warmer news, but it probably is going to be extra rough here, pun intended. And the reason for that is we're in the 50s. We got some morning rain. If you have any Easter egg hunts, well, it might be a bit of a washout. But either way, the afternoon a bit damp, a bit breezy. Maybe spending more of your Easter Sunday indoors nonetheless. But nonetheless, today, We're going to be tracking some of that warmth. We'll be diving into that here shortly. Gary?
Have the kids wear Easter bonnets, right?
Oh, yeah. Put a little jacket on. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Eric, thanks. The spring season at Fort Ricky.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. Time now is 6:19 on this Good Friday, and today we are tracking a few rain showers over the area. Let's take a look at downtown Utica. It's a bit damp out there this morning. And overall, this is part of a much larger pattern here. We were dealing with a stationary front earlier this week, and now there's just more of a surge of moisture from the southwest. You see these scattered showers right here. Another round in the late morning and early afternoon, and this round arrives as we head toward the evening. You see it move through here progressively throughout the day today. Now, as we head toward Saturday, we're going to start to see some quieter conditions, maybe a round of rain in the morning. But you see here, we got some cold weather finally working its way in, and eventually we've got this cold front as we head through Easter and beyond. It's going to usher in some colder temperatures. In the meantime, though, here's a look at the Yorkville Battery Live radar. We have a few downpours here and there across central New York. And despite that, in fact, there's even a rumble of thunder in central Herkimer County. So these are convective rain showers, tapping into some instability that's present in the atmosphere. But nonetheless, as we head throughout the day today, the rainfall is going to taper off a little bit following this afternoon, or at least the late morning, early afternoon. Once that rain band passes between noon and roughly 4 p.m., this is our window of nice weather. Sunshine, warm temperatures, highs in the 70s. Then a downpour rolls through between 4 and 6. Once that rolls through, then we've got a bit of a cool down on the way. But in the meantime, if you're in Oneida County in north and west, you have a brief window at least of some drier weather and still rather pleasant conditions. Those of you in Otsego County, that rain might arrive a bit later and produce some heavier rain either way. Then by Saturday morning, a bit breezy to start, cloudy conditions, a few spotty rain showers throughout the day. And then as we head toward the overnight, it does dry up a little bit with some clearing taking place. And then by Sunday morning, Easter Sunday starts out at 6 a.m. with a few clouds, some patchy drizzle, widespread rain in the mid-morning. That's that cold front that works through. And then we're going to see a bit of a damp, breezy, cool afternoon with some patchy drizzle and even some flurries starting to work in those highest elevations. So overall, it's going to be a rather damp and cold second half of the weekend. You see here over the next 24 to 48 hours, you have a couple spots here picking up a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch of rain as some of these showers, and again, locally some downpours that begin to move in over the next few days. Nothing is that widespread aside from Sunday's rainfall, but nonetheless, a few flurries on Monday, remaining rather cool Tuesday and Wednesday, climbing back to the 60-degree range by Thursday next week. We'll be right back.
Once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour on this Friday. And if you are getting ready to head to work or get the kids ready to head out to the bus, it's a little drizzly out there this morning, Eric.
Yeah, I got some rain showers we're tracking right now, a bit damp to start your day today. Here's a look at the radar scans here at 6:31, turning almost 6:32 on this Good Friday. So we have a couple of these downpours mixing in as well. A total of 5 lightning strikes reported all across, either from Oneida County, Lewis County, Herkimer County, and Fulton County here. So they're sporadic. They're not at least a lightning show we saw earlier in the week, but still rumbles of thunder possible. They're tapping into some limited instability in the air this morning. Either way, once this rainfall pushes through, we're going to see conditions begin to dry up a little bit in the morning before another round of rain arrives in the late morning and early afternoon. So bear with me. There's a lot of chances of rain today, and they're all happening at different times. So this is the first round of rain we're seeing. Following that, we have our second round. This is right here. This arrives right around 10 to noon, probably closer to 11 o'clock to noon. Once this front passes right here, we've got a window of warmer temperatures between noon and 4, noon and 5, with sunshine, warmer temperatures, and overall pretty pleasant conditions. And then this trailing front right here moves through, and we're going to start to cool down as we head toward the overnight. But nonetheless, still flood warnings in effect right now. West Canada Creek, currently at minor flood stage. It is still flooding, which is the bad news, but the good news is water levels are continuing to drop. We'll be following, of course, this flooding potential throughout the day today. And on top of that, we have a look at your Easter weekend forecast and how the rest of the day shapes up here locally coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Washington is reacting to the latest shakeup in President Trump's cabinet. Longtime Trump ally Pam Bondi is out as Attorney General, replaced at least temporarily by the president's former personal attorney.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Until 4 at 6:48 a.m.
Welcome back to Sunrise on this Good Friday. Here's a look at your radar scan right now, which clearly shows we have a few downpours we're tracking across the area. A bit of a damp morning out there today. We will be seeing some drying conditions in the next few hours. However, we have more rounds of rain to track later today, which we'll dive into here shortly. But a bit of a difference here compared to the rain we're seeing right now is this photo of the day today, which honestly made me smile. Hope it makes you smile this morning. It's a couple of horses, what appears to be here, basking in the sun was the title sent in by Diana of these two horses just enjoying the sunshine that took place at least earlier in the week. Now, despite all the rain we're seeing today, I think these horses here might have another opportunity to bask in the sun for a few hours today. Yes, it's likely to hit near 70 this afternoon with even some sunshine peeking out. So despite this cool and rainy morning, we might have some nice weather on the horizon here today. But either way, amazing photo from Holland Patton. If you have a photo like that, like to send to us, go to WKTV.com/weather/pics. And as always, that photo and every photo every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A day after Newport filled with floodwater, the American Red Cross shelter at the Cuyahoga Community Hall there has closed, but there are still cleanup kits available for those who need them. Various community organizations, including the Herkimer Oneida organizations active in disaster, are also offering a helping hand. Newport is expected to remain under a flood warning until late this morning. And flooding affecting Harbor Point in Utica has slowly started to recede, that is. Since heavy rainfall affected Utica and the greater Mohawk Valley this week, the Mohawk River rose close to the parking lot, covering sidewalks and benches. Yesterday, the water level appeared to be receding. The city of Utica is actively working with the State Canal Corporation on the issue. A portion of I-88 in Otsego because of this sinkhole between Otsego and Unadilla. It's been 3 days. State police have told us there is considerable erosion under the highway. They also say the sinkhole was caused by an unknown water issue. The time right now is 6:40.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. On this Good Friday, we have Easter weekend here right around the corner, and we begin on this Good Friday with some rain showers. Here's a look at the Nexus camera here in downtown Utica. Of course, traffic picking up here, but still rather damp out there this morning. We look at the radar and satellite here. The bigger picture shows still seeing a lot of this rainfall here locally. It is expected to end a little bit this afternoon. Returning again tonight. More opportunities for rain here and there, but the big story here is on Easter Sunday. You've got widespread rain to start the morning and some colder air that begins to work its way in as we head into the first half of next week. And with that brings in some, I would say, not so favorable weather for Easter Sunday. I wish I had better news for it, but I'll show you what I mean here in a second. A few downpours here and there, rumbles of thunder, up to 14 lightning strikes here and there across a lot of central New York as these downpours move their way north and east. We'll be drying up a little bit here and there into the early afternoon. You see a round of rain pass through. Then between noon and roughly 4 and 5 p.m., you see here we got some sun, we got some warmth. We're pushing near 70. This is our window of nice weather today. Then we're going to see a cold front work through, maybe a sudden downpour here and there. Once that passes over the area, things will begin to quiet down a little bit. We'll be in the 60s, at least initially in the Mohawk Valley, before cooling down into the 30s tonight. Saturday, on and off rain showers for much of the morning and early afternoon. I would say mainly afternoon hours, we're going to see that rainfall. It does dry up overnight, and then Sunday, for Easter Sunday, we start out with temperatures in the 50s, a bit damp after some brief overnight rain, and then we're going to see widespread rain in the mid-morning. Following that, the afternoon, well, it's damp, it's blustery, it's cloudy, and we're going to see maybe even a few flurries mixed in with some patchy drizzle. So it's not necessarily the nicest Easter Sunday, but, I mean, it could be worse. So for the time being, expect a very damp and a somewhat cool Easter Sunday as we do cool down into the 30s overnight. Projected rainfall over the next 24 to 36 hours, we're looking at roughly half an inch in some spots with some of these downpours, pushing up to 3/4 of an inch to an inch by the end of this event here by Sunday night. So overall, no major rainfall, but this will likely add to the water table here and produce, again, more opportunities for runoff. So we'll closely watch those area creeks, streams, and rivers. Your 7-day forecast, as I mentioned here, we have some backside snow showers and flurries possible Monday. It's not really widespread. It's going to be focused mainly in those higher elevations, but nonetheless, it's cold, or at least cooler, Tuesday and Wednesday, climbing back into the 60s on Thursday. So the cool weather doesn't last long. And in fact, even today, despite it feeling cold, we're pushing in the 70s by this afternoon. How about that?
Get out and enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, thanks. After a successful launch, reporting. Now to something much lighter and brighter, the sunshine. Meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now, and it's nice and sunny. Still a bit cool, though.
Yes, and it's warming up quickly. We started out in the 40s and 30s this morning, and take a look at some of these conditions outside. All this sunshine, we have some south winds moving in. It's going to usher in some nicer weather here. Now, to be fair, still a few more clouds in, say, for example, Oneonta, but you wait about maybe 20 minutes to a half hour. You're going to see a lot more of the blue skies you see from the western skies from our Nexus Center camera in downtown Utica. So again, this is facing the east. This is also facing the east, but the western sky is seeing a lot more blue. Radar still picking up on some maybe lingering drizzle. It was a bit of a damp morning. In fact, some spots even seeing some downpours, but nonetheless, we are still tracking some improvements, at least briefly, before more rain arrives this evening. Still, the only flood warning is still in effect, and we're going to keep following it until the warning expires. A warning in effect for the West Canada from Hinckley all the way down to the Barge Canal. It's now in minor flood stage. It is still lowering, but at least at this point, flooding is still taking place. So in the meantime, a lot of you are on this creek are likely still affected by this, and of course we'll provide updates as the conditions do improve. You can see here quite the difference in conditions now. We're already warming up into the 50s, 56 at Griffiths, almost 70 in Syracuse. It's already a huge jump up, and we're going to see these warmer temperatures between roughly now through, say, 4 or 5 p.m. before a trailing cold front works through. So you see right here, we're in the 70s. Despite the rain coming in this evening, it's going to remain rather mild until the actual front rolls through tonight. Then we're going to fall down into the 30s and 40s with a bit of a cool start to your Saturday. In fact, we have a look at your Easter weekend forecast in a lot more detail coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, today on this Good Friday, a walk was held in Utica this morning.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Its way in. Following that, though, we've got a cold front moving through, and that's going to cool things down tonight into the 30s and 40s. So we see this movement here with that frontal boundary. We have a warm-up on the way again a little bit tomorrow, not a big warm-up, and then you see right here we've got widespread rain early Sunday, followed by a cool down on the way as well as we head toward the end of Sunday night into the start of next week. In the meantime, though, look at the radar here. We got some drying conditions here. We got some rainfall starting to fizzle out. It's ending, so some sunshine's working in. It's going to be a very pleasant afternoon today. Get out and enjoy it. Go for a walk. Take the dog out for a walk. Now, keep in mind that we're going to be watching for a round of some downpours heading into the 4 to 6 o'clock time frame here. So it's not lasting long, but just keep your eye to the sky. If you see a dark cloud coming through, maybe a rumble of thunder, just head inside and for a few minutes until the storm passes. And once it does, we're drying up again. This is the time frame at 6:30, already drying up in the Mohawk Valley. It's still rather mild, too. It's not really going to cool down until that trailing front rolls through overnight. Then we're down to the upper 30s, low 40s by early Saturday. Now, Saturday itself starts out dry, a few scattered showers in the afternoon, not very notable. Then as we head into Sunday, we start out rather mild, upper 40s, low 50s, with the arrival of widespread rain during the mid-morning hours. This is going to last for about a few hours. It's going to end, and then once the widespread rain ends, then we have some patchy drizzle, maybe a few flurries. It's overall blustery, damp, cool Sunday afternoon. So when it comes to the Easter Sunday forecast, well, might not be the best here, which I'll show here shortly. So still, when it comes to rainfall, as you see here, we've got sporadic showers here and there. The widespread rain that arrives Sunday will bring roughly about a half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch to some spots as we eventually begin to cool down by Sunday night. So that Easter forecast, well, I wish I had a better one for you, but for now it's 50s, rain ending during the day, but maybe some persistent sprinkles throughout the afternoon as well. Following Easter, you see here we've got some cooler temperatures, some flurries to deal with on Monday, remaining chilly Tuesday, 40s on Wednesday, 60s by Thursday next week. We'll be
Turn our attention to the weather and a very nice forecast for today.
Yes, warming up already, Gary. We're seeing some sunshine peeking out now in Utica. Now, it's a bit more delayed as you head out to the eastern portions of New York State here. In fact, we look right here at the latest cameras. We have Oneonta and our tower cam in Deerfield facing the east sky. You can see, of course, a lot more clouds that way. To the west, though, from our Nexus Center camera, you're seeing a lot more blue in the sky here. So we got some good news along that front. Now, we look right now at the Yorkville Battery Live radar. Things are starting to dry up. It's been a very damp morning. In fact, a lot of downpours reported over the last few hours, and now, of course, things are improving. Now, what does that mean for floods, or at least flood concerns? So the only flood warning still in effect here locally is along the West Canada. So some updates right now. So Hinckley Reservoir is expected to fall below flood stage, minor flood stage, by 8 a.m. tomorrow. In turn, West Canada, as you head farther down, especially toward Cass Bridge, north of Herkimer, will fall below flood stage by 8 p.m. tonight. So likely by 8 a.m. tomorrow, this flood warning will expire, as of course we're not tracking anything major with rainfall aside from these downpours we're seeing briefly this afternoon. You see here the warm up quickly from the west. We're at the 50s right now in Rome. It's already pushing 70 in Syracuse and in Rochester. In fact, it's already 72 out in Dansville. A bit cooler as you head out to eastern New York, but of course that's going to change as this front moves through. So the next 12 hours, we climb to near 70. Enjoy this Good Friday, this warmth here before we again cool down as we head toward the end of the day today into the overnight, eventually into the 30s by early tomorrow. But will the weekend see any more warmth like this? We'll track that for you coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Rome police say the death of a man who's
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Happy Good Friday here. Easter weekend is finally here, and with it, we got some warmth today. Here's a look at the bigger picture and what's driving this pattern setup here. So despite the rain and downpours today and the cold starts, we're going to be pushing near 70. And in fact, you might already be looking out your window and seeing some blue skies. I expect to see a lot of that for the rest of the day today. Now, to be fair, there will be a downpour chance, which I'll get to here shortly. And then the weekend might be a bit more unsettled. Now let's take a look here at the pattern as we head into Saturday. A round of rain in the afternoon, widespread rain arriving Easter Sunday morning. This is the leading edge of a cold front that rolls through late Sunday, ushering in some cooler temperatures, even some rain, even some snow showers mixing in. And this will at least continue for the early half of the week next week. So a reminder, even though we're still in April now, we're going to see some of these cool downs here and there as, of course, the seasons are still battling it out. So our Skycast showing gradually drying conditions here, and as you see for the next few hours, it's rather dry, rather sunny. You got to watch out for a sudden downpour, rumble of thunder this evening. So be prepared for that. Keep your eye to the sky. Of course, have our Storm Tracker 2 app handy for the alerts of nearby lightning strikes and downpours. Your location-based. Very useful tool, especially as we head into the summer months when sudden downpours are a thing you got to look out for on a nice, warm summer day. Either way, though, today, well, it's feeling a bit like summer. We're in the low 70s briefly. We're in the 60s after the rain showers roll through. So it's not going to be an all-evening event. Once the rain rolls through, it's not cooling down immediately. But it will cool down by 6 a.m. Saturday. We're in the upper 30s, low 40s, a bit breezy and cloudy. We have a few scattered rain showers in the afternoon, so not a complete washout tomorrow. I'll give you that. We push into the mid-50s if we're lucky, low 50s or upper 40s by Sunday morning. And then we got that widespread rain in the mid-morning. In the wake of it, winds pick up. We hover in the 50s for much of the day. It's blustery, it's cool, it's damp as well. We have some patchy drizzle and even some flurries mixing in those higher elevations. So it's not expected to be a very pleasant Easter Sunday, but I'll give you that. It's not going to be a very difficult one, for example, travel-wise. We could be talking about a Easter snowstorm, but instead, just nuisance rain, picking up maybe about a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch as it rolls through. Not enough, at least with the rates we're expecting to cause any major issues to waterways. But for now, again, the big thing that's going to be doing is cooling things down by the early start of next week. 40s, maybe some snow showers here and there, but at least for now, though, we'll put that aside. It's pushing near 70 this afternoon with plenty of sun, so a lot to look forward to there.
No excuse not to get out and enjoy it.
Exactly.
Eric, thanks. Now to the latest in the
Look at your forecast tonight at 10. Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. And big talking point is the holiday forecast. Beautiful today. We're staying that way.
It'll be nice over the weekend. It's not going to be as warm as today. We hit 76 today.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, after being in the low 40s yesterday. So
Wow.
an unbelievable turnaround. By Easter, we're going the other way. Temperatures are going to be in the low 50s. Rain showers in the morning. Make sure the kids have the umbrella if they're going to be doing any Easter egg hunts in the morning. It stays wet. We do dry out in the afternoon, but it does turn windy. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Pretty quiet out there. A cold front came through, so temperatures are cooling off. 60 degrees. Look at that northwest wind, 23 miles an hour. It is gusty out there tonight. The winds will stick around. We're looking at much cooler weather for the weekend. Temperatures in the 50s, still warmer than yesterday, but not as warm as today. A few showers continue into the weekend. Snow showers in the forecast as we head into Monday and Tuesday. Showers tonight, low of 42. Again, tracking a cooler weekend ahead. A look at the forecast coming up. Ben, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. A traffic alert.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a look at the weekend forecast as we head into Easter. The weather is going to cool down. Today we hit 76 for the high. That was the warmest day since October 19th, 166 days ago. We aren't going to get that warm anytime soon. Eventually it will come. But in the meantime, it's back to some cooler weather. We have a backdoor cold front that's going to knock us down into the 50s tomorrow. Cloudy with a chance of a few rain showers in the afternoon. With that front kind of hanging around, could spark a shower or two. I don't expect the rain to last all day. Sunday, Easter Sunday, it does look wet in the morning. We should dry out in the afternoon. Temperatures climb into the low 50s. That's an early high. It turns windy in the afternoon. It's windy out there tonight. It's a live look at downtown Utica. You can see the flag moving pretty good. That west wind has picked up in the wake of a cold front, and we are looking at dry conditions here. Ready to turn the radar onto sensitivity mode. You can pick out a couple of things here. Number one, you can see the wind shift. This line showing up is the cold front rolling through, and all of this bright green, that is birds. There's a mass migration of birds taking place tonight as the birds slowly return as we get into spring, and the radar is picking up on all of that in the evening time. As we look ahead, another thing to watch in tonight's sky, although we haven't had much activity, there could be some northern lights out there tonight. We had some high activity earlier this evening. The sun was very, very active, but so far it really hasn't produced much here. So small chance we could see the northern lights overnight. Again, look to the north and have a camera that's able to capture photos in night mode. So you look at the bigger picture, again, cold front moves to the south. Some cooler weather arrives here tomorrow. Temperatures will drop into the low 40s tonight. It's cloudy to start Saturday, and the clouds are going to linger around for most of the day. There's a slight chance of a shower. Overall, not too bad of a day, but noticeably cooler than today. Winds will be coming in from the east. Tomorrow night, a cold front arrives from the west. This one is a strong front, and it produces widespread rain. It looks wet to start Easter Sunday. This is 9 a.m. Keep the umbrella handy if you're heading out to church services. Temperatures will cool off throughout the day, and we will see temperatures in the 40s here as we head into the afternoon and evening. So much chillier weather will follow, and it gets downright cold here heading into Monday and Tuesday. Showers tonight, low 42. Passing shower or two tomorrow. Again, noticeably cooler, but all things considered pretty standard for this time of the year. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Rain early Sunday. We'll get a chance to dry out. It's windy heading into early next week. Monday and Tuesday, highs near 40, tracking some snow showers. Temperatures warm up Wednesday, 47. We're back into the 60s, looking ahead to Thursday and Friday. We'll be right back.
Forecast tonight at 11. Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. The thing on everybody's mind, the holiday forecast. Great weather today, ish for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're dealing with rain for Easter Sunday, and it looks like it's going to be right in the morning while the kids are looking for Easter eggs. People are going out to church services, so just keep the umbrella handy if you are heading out. It's going to turn windy later in the day, so it will be a windy, unsettled afternoon. But again, it doesn't look like it's going to rain the whole weekend. We are tracking dry weather this evening. We had a cold front that swept through the region earlier this evening, and it did produce a couple of sprinkles, but it's been a warm day. We hit 76 degrees for the high temperature. That's the warmest it's been since October 19th, 166 days ago. Current temperature 56 degrees, cloudy skies. That west wind at 15 miles an hour. It's going to continue to cool off tonight. Again, a couple of showers around for the weekend. Cold enough for snow showers for Monday and Tuesday, but thankfully that level of cold doesn't look to last. Showers are possible late tonight, a low temperature of 42. Again, tracking an unsettled weekend ahead. A look at the forecast coming out. Ben, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you very much. A traffic alert.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We are taking a look at the weekend, and it's looking cooler than today. Today we hit 76, which is the warmest it's been since October 19th. It's just not going to last. We'll be in the 50s over the weekend, which is a lot warmer than yesterday, but again, it's kind of somewhere in between yesterday and today. We're also tracking a few showers here as we head into tomorrow, especially during the late afternoon to early evening. Steady rain is expected Saturday night, and that lasts into early Sunday. So it is a wet start to Easter. Then we'll get a chance to dry out. That rain doesn't last all day. It comes to an end in the late morning, and then it turns windy and colder. So it's a windy finish to the weekend. It's windy out there tonight. It's a live look at downtown Utica. You can see the flag moving in the wake of a cold front. Things are looking dry across central New York. We have an ability to turn the radar into what's called sensitivity mode. This is called clear air mode. It's a highly sensitive way of picking up on things that are moving in the atmosphere. So even though the weather's dry, what is this? This is a bird migration. And it's also picking up on the wind shift. So that's the winds turning direction, but also all of this green is a large amount of birds migrating in from the south. So pretty neat to see that, and very encouraging for those of you that like spring lake weather. The birds are on the way. The northern lights, we had a lot of solar activity earlier today. It doesn't look like this is going to work out tonight. Been checking this throughout the past several hours, and conditions are not right for this. So again, it did look promising earlier. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case tonight. So if you are looking to get a glimpse of this, it doesn't look like tonight's going to be the night. Bigger picture, cold front moving to the south. Pretty quiet weather in the short term. Temperatures will drop into the low 40s here tonight. Saturday is looking cloudy and cool. The winds turn into the east, so it's going to be a chilly wind. Temperatures will be in the 50s throughout the day. We could see a few scattered showers in the afternoon. A steady rain arrives from the west tomorrow night. This is all part of a cold front. Yeah, another cold front. This one is a much stronger front. It brings rain Easter Sunday. 9 o'clock in the morning, widespread rain. If you're heading out to church services, keep the umbrella handy. The winds will be picking up as we head into Easter afternoon. Temperatures will fall. It will get much colder here heading into the start of early next week. Showers tonight, low 42. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a passing shower, a high of 58. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Cold enough for snow showers Monday and Tuesday, windy as well. A couple of nasty days for outdoor activity. But Wednesday, we're back to sunny skies, light winds. That's pleasant, 47. And it gets warm again. Very spring-like temperatures in the 60s Thursday and Friday. Just the time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take it, though.
Yeah.
Going back into the 60s by the end of the week. Thank you very much, Bill. Coming up next,